Hello, welcome. Very nice to be here. Blessings. This is exciting. I love doing these sessions with all of you. There's a lot of people on this call, so again, very welcome. It also looks like quite a few of you are new to this, so that's exciting. But one of the things that is challenging about a lot of the changes that we're trying to make, each one of us right now, is we have a perspective of ourselves, a sense of how we got here. To a great extent, that's even a little fallacious. We think we know who we are. We have a lot of memories that we've constructed, but many of those memories that we've constructed are not even accurate. It didn't happen the way we think it happens. It didn't happen the way we've formulated it, the way we've come to create beliefs and habits around it. It didn't happen that way. But I don't remember how it happened. And because I was mostly engaged in either the emotion of a circumstance or the uncertainty of a circumstance, or engaged in a circumstance that I didn't have enough information to make a good decision about, but nonetheless I was there, we make assumptions about what has happened. Think about it for a minute. Have you made assumptions about how you think your life has been maneuvered to this point? And how many of those assumptions are you willing to 100% say that's how it happened? Oh yeah, there'll be some. But there's a lot of assumptions, a lot of experiences that in order to understand them, we've created these stories around many of these circumstances. And the stories very much have been forgotten. They have been used to build a foundation, as a foundation to move forward with the next story. But we don't remember the story that the foundation was created in many times. I'll give you an example. Is in the context of finding balance, which is where we're talking here. There was a part of my body, my hip, was a little out of alignment. Left hip a little forward, a little high. And it created a imbalance in my walking. And so about a year ago, I decided I was going to work on this. How do I correct this? And as I became more and more conscious of it, it became obvious. Well, obviously, it's this experience back in 1990, playing racquetball, tearing the meniscus in my knee. And so obviously favoring that caused me to walk different. And as I began to work with that aspect of my knee began to get uncomfortable because I was adjusting my off-balancedness in the hips. But the more I put my hips back into alignment, the source, I was sure the source, my knee, really began to hurt. And so I finally asked the question, well, why is my knee hurting? I know I tore something and I know it's healed, but why is my knee hurting? And so using kind of the ability to sit down and ask the question and look for the answer, it wasn't my knee. Why did that hurt in the first place? It was my ankle. And it was the ankle because when I was a kid playing sports on an athletic field that had lots of gophers, lots of gopher holes, and lots of sprained ankles. So when I got to the ankle piece, I realized my ankle just didn't work like the other ankle worked. And so, but when I started the whole process of finding balance, there was no recollection of the story of falling down playing sports as a kid. How many of those stories do you have? And it's not so much the physical story, how many of the stories do we have that this is how it happened, when in fact, no, it didn't. And how do you go about unraveling the stories? To a great extent, that's what mastering alchemy is all about, but I'm not really talking about mastering alchemy here. I mean, all the tools, the rays, the color codes, the alignments, opening up the crown chakra, the 8th chakra, beginning to have access to parts of the brain, that all is really potent stuff. But that's not where we're talking here today. One of the people in my spiritual growth that has been really a tremendous influence is, we started talking about this a little bit the last lecture, free lecture conversation we're having like this last month, was Esther Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks. And if you don't know about Esther and Jerry Hicks, go find out about her. Jerry's passed away, but Esther is the spokesperson for a consciousness. And the consciousness really in the very beginning, late 1980s, 1990s, she would go weekend after weekend, in some cases 52 weekends a year, to different parts of the country. And she would talk about 3 things. She would talk about the law of attraction, the law of deliberate intention, and the law of allowing. That was it. That's what she talked about. And people would ask all kinds of questions about, how do I fix myself, and what's wrong, and how come my wife doesn't, and my husband acts like this, and why do they do that? And the channeling, she channeled a group of beings referred to as Abraham. And she was part of that grouping of beings, a spokesperson for that. And she would talk about every circumstance that would come up in the context of those 3 laws of the universe. And it's an interesting thing when you start to talk about where we're playing. You go back up to 30,000 feet and you ask the question, how does it work? How does this game that we're playing work? What are some of the foundational points of reference that allow this game to produce fear and rage and doubt and lack of? And what are those structures that produce well-being and beauty and graciousness, kindness, integrity? And when you begin to look at the laws of man and the laws of source, the expanded awareness that this shift is bringing about, 3 fundamental concepts: law of attraction, deliberate intention, and allowing. So take a breath if you would. So when we have our stories, we've wound up our stories, this is the truth. It's kind of the truth when I'm 6 inches from the mirror and I have to fix something, solve something right now. But when you get away from your circumstance, away from your story, away from the vibrations of the game, you start to have choices that you don't have when it's in your face. So one of the tools in Mastering Alchemy, let's just call it one of the basic structures of how do I get it out of my face? How do I begin to function differently? How do I find balance? You see, if I never understood it was my ankle, I wouldn't have found the balance that I was looking for. It wasn't anything about what I was doing today. It was about a structure, a story on top of a story on top of a story. So another breath, if you would. We're just setting up an energy to bring about some interesting changes available at this point in time. Have been available for some time. But you got to step back to begin to rearrange the furniture, in a manner of speaking, to create a different reality than the one that continuously gets repetitiously presented to you. So how is it that we get off balance? And there's one particular awareness that makes a difference significantly. So if I asked you in a kind of a 15,000 foot point of reference, who are you? Who are you? What you're going to do is tell me stories about who I am. And if I said to you, how was your day today? What happened in your day? Did you have mood swings? Did you have an emotional shifts through the day? To a great extent, you don't even pay attention to it unless it's in your face. But one of the things about the question, who are you, is not lofty spiritual, who am I, why am I here? Not at that level. Just this simple question, who are you? When I watch people, starting with myself, what I've realized is that without a point of definition of some aspect of you, how do you define you? How do I define who I am? And it really is that very simple tool that is, how do I create a point of delineation? How do I define what is mine and what is not mine? Because without knowing that, I don't know whether I should look at my knee or my hip or my ankle, maybe even my toes. I don't know where to look when I don't know what's mine and what's not mine. So one of the most important tools in who am I is beginning to be able to define yourself so that you can have a sense of, is this really mine? Is this who I am? Or is this somebody else's? And so there are a lot of new people on this call, and there's quite a few of you who've been playing here for a long time. So for those who've been playing for a long time, just make this a practice, real simple practice. But for those of you who are new, here we're going to do something really, really simple. We're going to define the edge of your aura, and we're going to basically make a decision that the aura is mine. This is me. This energy field, this electromagnetic field is me. And so where is the aura? Well, if you stick your arm straight out in front of you, if you haven't done this, go ahead and do it right here. Just stick your arm straight out in front of you and turn your palm of your hand towards you. So you're looking at the inside of your hand. For a person that's basically in a good space, not great space, not bad space, just kind of an okay space, that's going to be the edge of your aura. If you're a person that lives in the future, the front of your aura is going to be a little further out. If you're a person that lives in the past, it's going to be a little closer to you in the front, but it'll extend out in the back. So, but in a good space, there's a balance. So if you just kind of create that space, and and that space goes all the way around you. It kind of creates a circle or an oval over the top of the head under your feet. But basically, kind of play with this for a second. This is the edge of me. Now, the way we do it is create a rose, a concept of a rose. I mean, if you can remember what a red rose looks like, and then kind of pretend that you're going to put a red rose right there where the palm of your hand is. And the way this works is, would you be on this side of the rose, on your side of the palm of your hand? Now, everybody play with this because you know it intimately, most of you, but just check in. Take a breath on your side of the rose. Everything on the other side of the rose is, let's make it really simple, Shakespeare's theater to entertain you. Just simply, all that's out there to entertain you. From here, the rose, to my heart is me. The reason why this awareness is really a fundamental, foundational piece of information is while you're engaged on your side, a lot of times the noise, what appears to be agreement, yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with that. Well, maybe I'm not completely in agreement with that. But without having a point of delineation, everything that happens on that side will pass right through you. You don't ever know, is this me or is this somebody else? You go to work and everybody's upset with the boss because they did something, but you aren't. Didn't affect you. But everybody's so riled up that within a short period of time, you're grumpy, you have anxiety, you're off balance, you don't feel really good. Their energy, their thoughts, their emotions, bouncing off the walls, passing through you. Out of balance. I don't know who I am. Real simple. 5,000 foot level. I can't distinguish. I was really in a good mood when I went to work, and now I'm really in a crappy mood. Nothing really happened. Well, how did the mood change? To a great extent, somebody could be thinking similar thoughts to you on the other side of the planet, and that energy passes right through you. Now, take another breath. Now, one of the things that's happening right here, if you kind of just notice to yourself, you're already calming down. Not that you were not calm, but would you notice you're getting quieter? Just kind of getting quieter. This is my side of the rose. This is me. Now, why this point of delineation becomes so important is you get to define you. Now, to the best that you can right here. There's a lot of energy in your space that's not you, but right here you begin to create a point that's kind of like a line in the sand. This is me, that's the theater. Another breath. Now let me make a suggestion here, particularly those who have played in this space for a long time. Would you just be grounded? Would you be in present time? Would you be on your side of the rose? Oh, I know you know all this, but would you just be on your side of the rose? When you can define yourself in this manner, this law of attraction begins to make an amazing amount of sense. Law of attraction. What I attract. What I draw to myself. Well, see, when that rose isn't in place, you are constantly drawing lots of things to yourself. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I love this. Oh, what's wrong with them? How come this isn't done this way? Every place you put your attention, there you are. But every place you put your attention is structured by your thoughts and your emotions, your curiosity. Many times it's way over there. You leave the body, go way over there to figure it out. How many times have you been sitting thinking about something and somebody says, "Hi, what are you thinking about?" You go, oh, I don't know. It was really good a minute ago. Where were you? I don't know that either. But I was out there somewhere. You see, out there doesn't work real well, particularly when you're in a set of thoughts, they get interrupted, you leave yourself there. There you are. It's like leaving your dollars everywhere you go, your money everywhere you go, and then there's a big sale at the store. You don't have any more money. You've left yourself all over the place. Now, another breath. Kind of setting something up here. So it's useful to know what the law of attraction is. And every time I do this, people say, "Oh, I know all about the law of attraction." Usually my next question is, you want to know about the law of attraction? See, the law of attraction is so ridiculously simple. it's very challenging to engage and work with. So the law of attraction basically says, what you put your attention on, I, the universe who adore you, will never second guess you, am here to support you 100%. What you put your attention on, I will provide for you, the universe says. Just usually right about here, people say, well, I've asked for a lot of things and I never got them. Yeah, okay. So see, the universe doesn't understand English and French and Spanish. What the universe understands is vibration. And in this space of vibration, it really is how you think and how you hold an emotion. And a lot of times when you don't have that rose up and you're engaging in other people's anxieties, stresses, animosities, and it's just simply running through your space, changing your mood, but you don't know why. Or you begin to put your attention on something and you get off balance. You get angry, you get resentful, you get scared, you get uncertain, or growing up as a little kid, what's wrong with you? You're not smart, you're not okay, you don't deserve. And we take that in and then we hold our attention on, I'm not okay. As I've said many times, the funny thing about I'm not okay is it's not your idea in the first place. So you're not okay, they say. And then you ask, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. You just allowed somebody else's attention point to be put into your space, because I didn't have a rose, and there it is sitting there. I don't know what to do with it, and yet there it is sitting there. And so we basically stick that in our backpack because we don't like it, so we're not going to pay attention to it, and lo and behold, we forget that story. But I'm holding on to it, so the universe says, when I wake up in the morning, oh, Jim, what do you want today? And I say, oh, I want goodness, I want greatness, I want enjoyment, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. The last affirmation is, but I don't think I'm good. I don't think I really deserve. There's something wrong with me. That's the last affirmation generally in people's affirmations. But, yeah, I really want the good stuff, but I'm not okay. So the universe says to Jim when he wakes up, I hear all the wants, but the vibration is, you're still working on this great experiment of unraveling yourself from not okay. So I'll give you another opportunity to play at being not okay again today. I love you. I adore you. I will never second guess you. I won't interrupt with your game because you're a creator. And if you're wanting to play this game again today and yesterday and the day before, I'm not okay, I'll be happy to support you because it's what you're asking for. Anybody know that space? Law of attraction. Flawless. So this rose begins to be a real valuable asset. I'm going to begin to discern between what is mine and what is not mine. I'm going to stay on my side of the rose and I'm going to observe what's going on over there. And amazingly, all of a sudden what I would have argued with, jumped in, put my finger in that light socket, got all wound up all about, staying on my side of the rose all of a sudden allows me to say, oh, interesting, but no thank you. No thank you. I don't really wish to have that passing through my space. So another breath, if you would. And let's play with this in your space a little bit, if we would. So would you just, if you haven't already, would you just kind of recognize yourself sitting there, present time, here I am. Present time means here I am, right here. So would you take a breath, if your eyes are still open, Would you just become aware of your next 1, 2, 3 breaths, nice circular breaths. Circular being I'm connecting the in-breath to the out-breath, and the out-breath to the in-breath. Just nice and connected. And would you just be aware of the breath? Let the room go out of focus. Just bring your attention to the breath. And then on the next 1 or 2 breaths, pay attention to the breath, but just let your eyelids close. And just keep following the breath for just another 1 or 2 times. And then would you just shift your attention right here? Really simple. Have you ever enjoyed yourself? Have you ever been happy? Have you ever just laughed for no real reason at all? Or smiled? Would you just find that space? It's not important why. Would you just kind of find the feeling of that smile? And another breath. You see, if the smile brought about a different feeling than where you were just a moment ago, you changed your attention point from wherever you were listening to me, and now you got aware of you, and you put your attention on the smile. And kind of notice the smile again. There you are. See, the smile's always there. The happiness is always there. The laughter is always there. We aren't. Because that attention point is, without that rose, is, oh, look at them over there. Oh, I wonder why he said that. Would you just take another breath? So how do you create stability in an off-balanced world? Really know yourself. Oh, not in the lofty spiritual nature of it. Right here. Here I am. I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm taking a breath, and here I am. Keep it very simple. And without moving, notice, are you still in the smile? Just notice. Or has your attention shifted? Now the smile hasn't gone away. If you would like, would you put your attention on and feel the smile? See, that's you being conscious of being conscious and placing your attention point where you choose to do it. But no matter how hard I tried to make my hips get aligned, as soon as I would take my attention off of the really masterful work I did and take 10 steps, my hips would be out of alignment. I would be off balance. I forgot to pay attention to that hour of work at the gym. My attention shifted. Another breath. So if the law of attraction is all about what you put your attention on, is what the universe provides for you, would it make sense to become aware of your intention? What is it that I want? What is important to me? How would I like to smile. I have an intention to hold more attention on my smile. I like me in this smile. Now, without an intention, without a focus, without a purpose or a sense of, yes, this is what I want, yes. Now, keep this real simple. The challenge is it's so simple It's just not easy. So if I can stay on my side of the rose, and if I can begin to be conscious of the law of attraction is what I put my attention on, then creating for myself with an intention and holding my attention on my intention seems to make a whole lot of sense. Now another breath. But see, this is the point where I was at the gym. Oh, I just spent that hour on my hip. It really feels much better. And somebody says, "Hi, Jim. Want to go to lunch?" Okay. And there goes my attention away from my intention. Oh, I was in my intention a minute ago when it felt good working on my hip. But I wandered. I moved off it. I forgot to say, wow, what a great experience. I can walk with my hip alignment the way I'm creating it and go to lunch. I can begin to practice managing my walking no matter where I am. See, this is part of the challenge. So see, we have so much attention on our story. Oh yeah, but you don't remember they didn't like me when I went over there. Oh, I went to that lunch restaurant once and the soup was really terrible, so I don't think I want to go back there. And in fact, somebody laughed at me. I embarrassed myself. I don't want to go back over there. Well, when did you go to that restaurant? Oh, 5 years ago. Oh, I see. Soup's bad? Yeah, soup's bad. 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago. It's got to be the same soup. How much is there in your space of 5-year-old soup? Holding that attention point on that bad cup of soup 5 years ago, and it just pops up as soon as somebody says, let's go to this restaurant. In other words, I never let my attention point go from that bad cup of soup. Well, I don't focus on it, but it's in my backpack. Would you take a breath? And would you bring your attention to a different space? Would you bring your attention to non-engagement? Oh, another way of saying that is neutral. Would you simply be neutral? Now, neutral is a place where I could say, you're a wonderful person. You're a terrible person. I like you. I don't like you. Doesn't matter. I'm just being neutral. I'm going to let the comment pass through me. I'm not grabbing a hold of it. I'm not going to hold my attention on it. I heard you, and I'm not engaging. Now, would you just kind of notice yourself, neutral, non-engagement? That doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're not paying attention. It's simply you're just not grabbing a hold of. I'm being neutral. Now, by being neutral, the ability to allow what you are holding your attention on has a level of permission, kind of my word, to be released. Neutral. I'm going to bring my energy into present time, and I'm going to be neutral. My intention is to really clear away from my backpack many of those attention points that I've accumulated throughout my years of stories. And my intention is to begin to release these. I'm still sitting here on my side of the rose, in my little bubble, if you would. The universe is out there. I'm here. This is who I am in this little bubble. Now, let me kind of tell you where we're going. I have been lighting up all your pictures for the last 20 minutes, kind of keeping it soft. But would you like to take your attention off of that baggage? I'm not okay. You don't have to know what it is. This is the amazing part. Just get neutral. And have an intention. I'm going to begin to dissolve, allow those thoughts, those attention points, I'm not okay. I'm going to allow them to leave. Oh, it's really that simple. Remember that third law William talked about, law of allowing? Really this simple. I can allow you to be who you are. Well, I allow me to be who I am. Kind of the next part of that is I'm going to allow those aspects that I'm holding on to, all those years of being told you're not okay, in the 85 different configurations. You're not okay. I'm going to allow them to leave. Now, it sounds really simple. Oh, it is really simple, but how do I do that? How do I do that? Now, another breath. And you remember that smile? Would you kind of, still there, would you bring your attention to that smile? I like me. Smile. I'm in neutral. I'm breathing. I'm on my side of the rose. See, all those things just happen. It's not memorized, it just happens. Because it's kind of who you are. I recognize I have my attention point on a lot of baggage. We don't even care what it is. A lot of baggage. I'm not okay. It could be one little thing, it could be a billion things. Doesn't matter. I recognize it. I'm bringing it into a conscious awareness. I have my attention on I'm not okay in some place. I don't even know what the story is. Now, another breath. Now, there's nothing to do. Just kind of be where the pointing is going, where the attention point is going. You don't have to see the story. I'm in neutral. And my intention is to bring into present time a lot of those attention points. See, that's kind of the magic. Bring it into present time, because at 4 years old I was told I wasn't okay. 6 years old I was told I wasn't okay. I think in fact 7 and 8 and 9 years old I was told I wasn't okay. I don't remember, but I know I was told I wasn't okay. Another breath. But being not okay at 5 years old and still measuring yourself by that, I'm going to bring my attention points into present time. I'm just intending. Now, another breath. Nothing to do, no work involved. I'm intending consciously to begin to bring some of those attention points. Now, what's interesting right here, you all of a sudden begin to remember, oh yeah, I stole the candy bar. Oh yeah, I didn't go to school. Oh yeah, my mother got mad at me. Let them come up. That's all the attention points. In a lot of ways, they're not memories, they're attention points where you're holding on to a story. My mother didn't love me when I broke the glass. Well, do you think she really didn't love you, or she was just annoyed? What's the story? Now, right here, another breath. You've just created the intention to allow all of those points that are not in present time to come into present time. You don't care what they are. Neutral. Smile. It's like pushing a start button on the computer, and by pushing that key, everything begins to engage. You don't have to do anything but push the key on the computer. Right here, it's deliberate intention. I'm going to bring into present time all those attention points that are out of present time. And I like me, neutral. Now, right here, let my words pass through you. Don't grab a hold of them. Just kind of let them pass through you. Neutral, smile, present time. I like me. No thought necessary. Can you be right here? Now, as all these old patterns begin to come into present time, the fascinating thing is they have no relevancy in present time. They have no shelf to sit on in present time. In present time, they don't even make sense. Can you let them just leave? There's no work, there's no healing, there's nothing broken. It's just like bubbles under the water rising to the surface and gone. Another breath. Balance. How do I find balance? The thing about balance is it's already there. You aren't. So, you mean if I just bring my attention to the concept of balance and then feel it? Now, the funny part is it's just like my hip. I've decided I'm going to be in balance, and I was still walking clumsy. But when I stopped saying, when's it going to work? When's it going to work? When I just simply held on to my intention, balance. How does it feel? I'm standing on both feet. I'm balanced. Everything that gets in the way of the concept begins to rise to the surface. It has no value, particularly if it's out of present time, and you can allow it to leave. Now, as these old memories come up, let them go. No reason to grab a hold of them. Another breath. It's so much simpler than we make it. Right here, just nice breath, neutral. My intention is balance. I can bring my attention also to part of what balance is, my attention on the smile, my attention on the smile and neutral. Balance. Everything begins to leave. The body begins to get quieter. I can allow this to leave. I don't have to know why. I don't have to analyze it. I don't have to grab it and say, why did they say that? You see, the magic, and this is the appropriate word right here, is it's gone. And when it's gone, to a great extent, it never was your story. That's the magic. It wasn't my story. And when it's gone, you don't remember the story. You don't remember, because it was most likely, or most of the story, rather, was not yours. Oh, yeah, they did laugh at you, and Your mother did get mad at the glass, but that was a long time ago. Did she like you, love you since then? Well, yeah. But, no but. Would you like to let it go? Balance. Neutral. I like me. And then just notice the breath. It's nice and smooth, very simple. In and out, no effort. Here I am. You just say hello to the body, let the body relax a little bit more. No thought necessary. I'm just here, quiet, neutral, balance. I'm observing something I don't see often. Oh, maybe. I like me, and there's the smile. Now, if you notice, without moving, just kind of be right here, there's actually quite a bit more going on here. There's quiet, calm, there's a smoothness. I'm present. I have things to do in my life, but right here, I have no reason to do them this minute. I'm being, I'm not doing. There's a smile. I like me. Now, you just notice this. Do you like this? Is this comfortable? Is this a place I would like to spend more time? And just kind of notice. This is very much a walking around space with your eyes open in the middle of a meeting where people are yelling and screaming. I'm fine. My side of the rose, present time, kind of in my bubble. The theater is acting out. And one of the fascinating things is, this is really humorous what all those folks are doing over there as I'm sitting here observing, not giving my attention to the noise, just watching. I'm being. Just nice smooth breath. Now here's an opportunity for a little shifted attention point. Do you like this space? Would you like to live your life from this space a little bit more? Now that becomes an intention. Would I like to have this space more often? And that's just a question. What is the answer? And then what is the action? I would like to have this. It's this simple. Neutral, balance, quiet. There's a smile. Now, to make this smile an anchor point, if I hold this smile, I feel good. Just kind of make that an anchor. This smile, I feel good. I kind of have this present space in the smile. I feel good. That's kind of anchoring the intention. Would you really like this? Are you willing to hold your attention on this intention? Now, I'll give you a little homework to make it even work better. I'm going to go to bed tonight and I'm going to decide that I'm going to enjoy this smile. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to be in present time in this smile, neutral. I like me. Just kind of anchor it. 3-4 parts. You configure it, but 3-4 parts. And then tell yourself, when I wake up in the morning, an intention, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to take a breath, find the smile, and say, I like me. That's kind of creating a new pattern. Now, kind of the last part of this, the thing about this little pattern is it's all the other attention points that have been accumulating that are sitting there vibrating with noise. But when you take seniority of an intention, and then you just, in simple terms, begin to own it. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to have the intention that this is going to become a mainstay in my day, in my life. I'm going to find neutral. I'm going to observe from neutral. I'm going to find this smile. I like me. But real simple. And when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to say is, I like me. I'm in neutral. I have a smile. I'm going to have a breath. I feel balanced. I can start my day from here and then hold it into the day. Oh, you'll lose it, but when you remember, step back, smile, neutral. I like me. Law of attraction. Law of deliberate intention and allowing. On my side of the rose, and the theater is out there. In very real terms, very, very, very little of the theater has anything to do with you at all. But when the theater overruns you, demands of you, says this is good and that is bad, and they and them and we and those, that's not what the heart does. I like me. I can allow the theater to be the theater. When there's opportunity to say hello to like-minded, heartfelt people, I see you. Hello. There are many out there, but they are not seen from anxiety and stress and the theater. Now, another breath. Just let my words pass through you. Notice you. Neutral. Balanced. Smile. Now, if you notice, there's another vibration here, and there's a strength. There's a presence. There's a sense of an awareness. For many, it's been there for some time. For some, it's just beginning to be noticed. This is who I am. The strength and the presence. You. Balance. It's from this space right here. You get to look in the mirror right at ground zero, and I'm fine. You can also be right here and observe from 30,000 feet and begin to see the changing tides of the day. I can step to the side, or I can engage, because here I am. Balanced. Another breath. Very simple. However, simple is not easy many times. How would you just validate yourself? Assuming you do, I like this. I feel good. I intend to do this more often. I will pay attention to my attention point. I like me. Would you take another breath? And from this I like me smile, would you just kind of wiggle your toes, with your eyes closed? Don't move, but would you be aware you're surrounded by a room? Here I am. And just 3 smooth breaths. Pay attention to the breaths. And then allow your eyes to open, but see nothing. It's just out of focus. Be aware of the breath. Creates a stability. And then with the next breath, allow your eyes to blink. Look around. I like me. Now just notice, can you hold balance? Can you be right in the same space you were just a minute ago? Just because you opened your eyes, nothing changed, but your eyes opened. Now, would you kind of look at your room, and would you be in the smile? Allow the room to be over there. I'm right here. Allow the room to be on the other side of the rows. I'm right here. I can see the room, but I'm not of the room. I'm within it, but I'm not the room. Great. Pat your thighs. Good job. This is so simple and so often overlooked. My side of the rose, neutral, balance, observation, smile. Great. Well, let's do this. I'm interested in how you just experienced that. And I'm going to turn this over to Roxanne. And as always, I'm interested in your questions, and we'll go from there. So, Roxanne.
Yes, hello. And also let us know how that meditation energy work worked for you. So if you would like to ask a question, you simply type it into your control panel there under the drop down labeled questions, and it pops up on my screen and I can ask it for you. Please let us know if you're a level 1, 2, 3 person or a book member, the new book that we have just had come out. so that Jim can kind of answer your question closer to the tools that you know. So, Jim, this first question is from Kate, who is actually online here. How do I know the difference between something leaving and a thought in the moment?
Oh, good question. So, as you begin to play with all this work, there's a space where you're thinking, solving something or figuring something out or deciding when you're going to go to the store. There's an aspect of you that thinks that. There is a different aspect of you that is very much the rational mind part of you, that aspect that does all the thinking. Its job is to keep you safe and have you fit in. And a lot of times it is very aware of all of this baggage because that's what it's theoretically protecting you from. We don't want that to ever happen again, type of thing. So when you get quiet like this and you are sitting there, the first part of this is really becoming more masterful at getting quiet. That was really what we just got done doing, even though I kept talking all the way through it purposely. But in that space where you get calm, there's a sense of balance. There is a place where right now you're still thinking, am I doing it right? Should I do it this way? So there's thinking. We're going to call that the third layer of thought. That's another conversation another day. But when you get into this place where we just played and it gets quiet, you begin to move into what's called the fourth layer of thought, where you're curious, but you're really not thinking. You're not fixing things or analyzing. And here, all of a sudden, a memory pops up. You and your sister eating ice cream sitting on a log at a pool. It's like, gee, that was 40 years ago. That's leaving. These little thoughts that come from your past that just come up, they're leaving. And one of the things that I say often, in particularly the level 2 work to people, when those thoughts come up, a lot of the thoughts that are leaving are, why is my divorce of 25 years ago coming up? I thought I was done with all that. Well, there it is. So you weren't done with it. But that piece is leaving. And if you allow it to just go, rather than grabbing a hold of it and say, why are you here? Because it's going to tell you in emotions and dramas and all of the stickiness of all the other thoughts. If you can just say, it's leaving. Take a breath. Do not grab a hold of it. You're going to be amazed at, I just sat here for half an hour running my energy and I feel great. And yeah, I saw some things, but I don't remember what they were. So it begins to be not a thinking process and not an analyzing process to the question you're asking. It's much more of an allowing. And just simply, when I'm quiet, I'm right here. And these old pictures, old memories, things that I did when I was a kid, that's the stuff that's leaving. But there's another part where we'll play in this fourth layer of thought, which allows you to observe rather than engaging, or observe and then choose to engage or choose to not engage. Hope that's helpful.
So this question is from Tracy, who's in level 1. It seems like there are many things I need to unravel in this way. Do I need to do this exercise with each discomfort/baggage that comes up? Or the more I practice releasing baggage bit by bit, then the next it will dissolve all of the baggage?
Here, let's go back to something I said here, and I'll say it millions of times more, is you do nothing. You do nothing. See, if you can find neutral, and if you can find the smile, and if you can just sit there and allow yourself to be in that smile or kind of be in the feeling of, I like me, I'm happy, or I'm okay. It's just a comfortable space, quiet, comfortable. See, everything that magnetically is, or things that are stuck, when you go into neutral, the pieces that hold them in stuckness neutralize. Now, that's not the way the world has worked to this point for so many people growing up. But it's really not working, efforting, pushing on, going to the therapist, thinking through it. It's really just what you just did. And it's a place, and see, this is where all the tools in Mastering Alchemy, you start to have, like in level 2 and level 1, but you begin to build this platform with the intention of, I'm just going to step out of the game. I'm not going to disavow the game life. I'm just going to take a breath and step over here. And I'm going to start to weave these vibrations, certain, capable, gracious, seniority, kindness. I'm going to just start to be these vibrations. It's in that space that you begin to recognize you, because you are those vibrations. And see, as you begin to create that space, that definition held by the rose begins to get much more in present time. And you realize, oh, I could yell at that person for what they just said, but I'm going to choose not to. And all of a sudden that person doesn't exist in your life anymore, because where you used to be engaged with them, pushing against them, arguing with them, being upset about them, you find that neutral space. Them doesn't have any place to throw their rocks at you anymore. You're not playing the game. And they somehow fall out of your reality. Now, everybody knows, just in many situations. But if you can hold your space in that level, everything that's not about you, all of the they said and you're supposed to and here's the truth and don't talk to them, things that never really felt good that you're still hanging on to but you forgot, they all begin to bubble up to the surface. So it's not so much a work as it is beginning to develop this platform. Quiet, neutral, balance, smile. Oh, there's hundreds of other vibrations. Remember law of attraction? I love you. Vibrations is what I live by, the universe says. So what if you begin to create yourself in happy, certain, capable? You would wake up in the morning and the universe would respond differently. But we don't do that. But that's the purpose of where we're playing right here.
Jim, this next question is from Charlotte in South Carolina. I'm finding it really difficult to stay on my side of the rose regarding my son and grandchildren and some personal difficulties they're having. I tell myself that it's Shakespeare's theater and I try to stay as an observer. Any ideas on how I can allow myself to remain more impartial?
So family is the toughest game on the planet. Relationship is the toughest game on the planet, but inside that, family is the toughest game. We've got so many agreements and histories and all those kind of things. But one of the things when you start to play here, you begin to have an awareness, particularly as you start to build more legs under the table, the platform you're working in. But they're working out their experience to try to figure out how to get out of what they're in. And when you engage with them, or when you try to fix them, or when you kind of get upset when they're doing what they're doing, you're right in the middle of that same energy. So one of the experiences, and again, family's the toughest of the game, is can you simply be neutral? They're going to do whatever they're going to do for the most part, with you or without you. Many times, if you're part of that structure of their game and you begin to get to be neutral, they start to act differently. Sometimes they get even annoyed at you, but basically they will start to act differently. And once they start to recognize you're there, but you're not engaged in their game, they'll start to change how they play their game. And so it's really about, can you manage you in this space without having to go over there? See, that last little piece of the exercise, can you open your eyes and be aware of yourself and recognize the room is on the other side of the rose. I'm sitting in a space and the room is not me. Normally, you'll open your eyes and here I am, and I'm fully engaged in my house, and I'm part of it, and there's no delineation between what's mine and what's the theater. So it takes a little work, relationship, family, tough, but practice when it doesn't count. Play with your rose when you go to the supermarket, when you go to the gas station, when you just simply say hello to somebody in the store. Put your rose up and stay on your side and say, hello, nice to see you, and be aware. And pretty soon it becomes the natural state of who you are, because it was the natural state of who you are all along, just forgotten.
Jim, here's a question from Jan. Are you experiencing the idea that the law of attraction has never really worked in this lower density, or that it's been working backwards? Is this comparable to cymatics, that movement caused by vibrational frequencies of sound?
No, there's nothing backwards about the law of attraction at all. It works perfectly. What you put your attention on, whether you like it, you don't like it, you hate it, you want it changed, you are engaged with that thing you have your attention on. Whether you love it, whether you resist it or hate it, you are engaged in the law of attraction. It works perfectly. It's us who don't understand that I'm holding my attention over there, and the thought and the emotion I'm having is the vibration in my body. I hate this. I'm resisting this. Why do they do this? The question is, who's got the rock in their backpack? You or the person that you are arguing with in the middle of your head? I'm talking to everybody. And so who's upset, them or you? There may be both, but for the most part, you're the only one that counts. So how are you managing your space? And whatever the answer is, this is how I'm feeling, having emotions, what I'm thinking. The law of attraction every instant is saying, I will provide you how you vibrate, and I will give you more of the same, because you're the creator of your game. So that piece is huge to understand. I'm my creation, and what I argue with, what I put my attention on, what I put the light socket I put my finger in, I will get in my space exactly what I'm engaged in. Hard to hear when you're in the middle of it.
Jim, here is a question from Lori. She says, I'm a newbie. I've been told that my life's lesson is to stand up for myself, but I feel like if I focus too much on the injustice I'm experiencing, that I'll cause it to become bigger.
Yes. So what you put your attention on is what you get. It's flawless. It's us who don't want to believe it, or us who forget it, or don't pay attention to it. So standing up for yourself does not mean you have to argue with and throw rocks and create a sense of power over. Standing up for yourself to a great extent is just simply being on your side of the rose, allowing what's going on the other side of the rose, and then determining how and or if you would like to respond. And see, this is one of the things, think about it, somebody says you're not okay in whatever format, and you don't have a rose up, how's that worked? I immediately go into upset, off balance, I'm not certain, I don't know what to say, why are they saying that? I'm running around thoughts in my head, I'm not feeling good, I'm useless. If you had your rose up and you were grounded, you had a sense of certainty and seniority and presence, those are the triangles that you build in level 1 and 2, and then basically recognize this person is screaming at me, and I can choose how I wish to engage. That's a split second, that awareness, but you're on your side of the rose. So standing up for yourself is really a sense of aligning yourself in a sense of strength. Well, I don't know what strength means. Well, have you ever been capable? Have you ever had a sense of being capable? And so here, level 1, level 2 is really all about, it's not think capable, it's close your eyes and feel capable. Just kind of, what do you think capable would feel like? And then feel it. And then what do you think certainty would feel like? And you begin to be capable and certain. Capable and certain. Feel the difference between the feelings. what you do is you begin to turn that all back on, and then on your side of the rose, the ability to navigate through these spaces, engage where you choose, and step away where you don't choose, begins to be a clear set of choices rather than being pushed around by the world. Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm sorry. I think I'm having technical difficulties here today.
It's like a bad hair day.
This question is from Rebecca. Is there an emotion in neutral, or is it the detached observer with no real emotion in it at all?
No emotion in neutral. It's like step on the gas on your car all you want. In neutral, nothing engages. So think about non-engagement is what's going on here, not non-awareness. There's complete awareness, there's complete range of choice, and you're simply observing prior to choosing an action. So neutral is a place where you just kind of observe. Everything works. The brain works, the thoughts work, the choices of emotions work, but there is no emotion engaged in neutral.
Jim, here's a question from Nozomi. Could this practice of shifting attention lead to a denial of reality? For instance, if I have an illness and anytime I see the degradation of my body and shift my attention to positive image instead, is this me just denying the current condition and avoiding to look at a reality of me being ill?
A perfect question. And yes, if you hold on to the yes but, kind of like I said earlier, the affirmations, I'm looking at myself and I'm going to align myself in well-being, but I know I'm physically ill. It's like 10,000 affirmations. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And the last one is but. So the but will get you the result. The belief is I recognize my body's having challenges and I get those challenges are serious. What I'm going to do is begin to create a frame of reference in a context. Let me say it this way. You are not your body. You are not your stuff in life. You're not your problems. I'm fine and I have stuff, whatever that stuff is. Same thing here in the body. I'm fine. As a spiritual being, I'm fine. If I can begin to create a vibrational field of well-being, the odds of my body healing and shifting are far higher than if I keep looking at my body and saying, you're broken, there's something wrong with you, and there's no hope. Which thought feels better? And so it's not a denial to recognize I'm fine and my body is broken. And I would like to change my body. I may or I may not be able to change my body. And I'm fine. It's that I'm fine space that begins to be owned that really starts to tell the body, all right, there's room here. How would you like to change? I'm going to stop beating you up. I'm going to stop telling you what's wrong with you. I'm going to simply say, all right, we don't know the answer, but let's see if we can create one. And I'm fine. Very different, not a denial.
Jim, this question is from Sheila, Florida. She's level 1. Could you please address how the solar flares and the shift affects us in our daily lives?
They're affecting you absolutely every second of the day. So you have these huge cosmic waves, these X-rays, and a lot of these vibrations that are coming from the center of the galaxy. They're being stepped down as they pass through the sun back into the earth. They're passing through the earth, they're passing through you. Your DNA is changing. Your concepts, concepts of a different circumstance are very much being provided. It's like trying to navigate in the dark, and then all of a sudden there's this little bit of light. It's like the dawning of the day is coming about, and you really can't see everything as if it was a sunny day. You're just starting to get glimpses of concepts, of configurations, of possibilities that have not been available to how the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical space has been constructed in the third dimension. There's a massive opening. Simultaneously, there is a massive shifting, because you can't take your baggage with you on this journey. So where there is greed, domination, slavery, imposition, advantage, competition, words like that that are impacting on or suppressing another, all of that is going to be neutralized. Now, what you're seeing when you look at the external world is you're really seeing all of that unfolding in lots of ways. You're seeing a lot of disruption happening. You're seeing a lot of redirection that's happening. Much of the redirection is going to ultimately be positive, but boy, right now it certainly looks like it's disruptive. The world is changing. It's moving 30,000 feet to that state of well-being, respect, dignity, appreciation, kindness. But you can't take your baggage of fear, lack, and limitation with you. And so where we work today, as a exercise today, is that space of neutral. Everything about the third dimension that, let's just say everything about that third dimension, except for the things that you really argue for, your beliefs that say, no, I really was bad, you don't understand. I hear you, but you don't understand. I was bad. Well, okay. That one you're going to hang on to for a little longer. But a lot of the things where you are holding attention points that you can't even find, that really had nothing to do with you. Oh, I played the piano in second grade and I didn't do it right. Well, really? Yes, really. That's what's stuck in that space. So as you begin to find this neutral, balanced sense of well-being without really even working, so much of that second grade piano just starts to leave. The dawning of the day is beginning to happen in each of our spaces. However, there are a lot of people that are arguing for their status quo. There's two things that are happening. Often I'll describe it as two earths, not as physical, but two stratas of consciousness, where you're all starting to play is beginning to become conscious about well-being, remembering yourself in well-being. And there is a whole nother aspect where there are many that are really digging in their heels. They like war and domination and competition. And they're playing at their game, and there's a segmentation. There's, I don't want to call it a separation, but there's a division that's in process, to where those that like shoot 'em up in greed and domination, they're going to continue to play that game, and they're not even going to see you after a while as you begin to start to play in a completely different configuration. The challenge is right now is you see them. They don't see you. They completely deny you. They don't even give you the time of day. You're just a spiritual foo-foo over there that has no value, is what they say about all of us, kind of thing. And they go right back to their game of advantage. But they don't even see us. We're not part of that reality. The reason that we see them is because we still carry that third dimensional baggage. And you can't take your judgments and your resentments and resistances and I'm not okay with you on this journey. And so this is where the tools in Mastering Alchemy become so valuable. It's here, apply this tool to this circumstance and really just neutralize it. Or what would happen if this concept was a choice you had in your reality? And all of a sudden you listen to Archangel Michael and Metatron and Yeshua and Mother Mary and Raphael and all these great beings in the conversations back and forth in the Mastering Alchemy work, and they just say, well, this is kind of how it's working. And all of a sudden you go, oh wow, I never thought about it that way. And you shift. So it's a work in process, but it's a work that's now very much being accelerated in process. And some of the external world venues that are on the horizon, they're not going to be fun. And very few of them actually have anything to do with each of us, or really have very little to do with most anybody. But nonetheless, you will see very challenging world events that will unfold in the not too distant future. Not bad, just challenging.
Jim, here's a comment from Hiroko. It was a great exercise, and I feel like I was finally able to get a glimpse of possibilities of letting go of my big resentment toward my father for years. I thought of myself trying to reel in a big fish that I don't need. I can let the ugly fish go. Thank you for today's class.
Good for you. Nice. Good for you.
Jim, this last question is from Carol. What do you mean when you say we need these tools because things are changing in the very near future?
So look at your external world, and as a topic, look at the mass migration of people that is occurring on the planet. Not from a good or bad place, or they're lesser or more so, but you look at that nature of disruption, for example, in Syria, and all it is about a handful of people who don't like another handful of people, literally handfuls of people, that make a set of decisions about their own well-being and their own power. And then there's a whole lot of people that are Me Too's. I'm successful in your world, and I'm a general in your world, so I agree with you. And a lot of times this whole nature of us versus them is one of the really challenging things on the earth. And so that aspect of people who are digging in their heels for the status quo, power, competition, advantage, they're really only a handful of people. When you look at people who make decisions in governments, for example, having spent lots of years at those higher levels of government, there's only a couple people that make the decision, and then it becomes policy, and everybody goes, okay, we'll just march right along. And then it begins to be law. And huge consequences occur without any real understanding or compassion or thought about it. And so you're watching this whole disruptive nature of you can't take your baggage with you. There are many who are being threatened by the sense of loss of power. And so if you look at governments, and you look at world finances, and you look at money structures, to a great extent there are a gazillion followers and just a handful of decision makers that actually put a lot of the motion into practice. The disruption from the motion is widespread. Millions of people, losses of life, millions of people dispersed from their homes in places like Lebanon and Syria and other places, Guatemala, Honduras, just really ugly things going on in the world. And that motion that's unfolding is really this shift, driving opportunities to choose differently, but those digging in their heels are buying bigger guns. And those who like to make guns are making bigger, better guns. And so you see that whole component. But the level of spiritual nature of humanity is growing also at leaps and bounds. People are waking up. They don't know what to do. They are off balance. They know there's something better, but they don't know where to find it. That's the reason we do Mastering Alchemy. It's not Roxanne and I do Mastering Alchemy. It's the course that's structured by the Archangelics and the Lords of Light. All of your friends that you forgot, that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's we came here and we forgot. We forgot Source, forgot the Creator, forgot ourselves, forgot the soul, and we've been in an off-balance space for eons and eons and eons of time. We're now coming out of it. And we're coming out of it, and you, all of you, me, many, many millions of others are really excited about it, but they don't know what to do. It's like, I know there's something better. And that's what's unfolding. And so there's fabulous things that are coming forth in terms of opportunities, tremendous technological changes and awarenesses that are going to be huge in making difference in how a world settles itself out. Is that going to take some time? Yes. Is there going to be much change over the next 10 years? Yes. Much of it good, much of it disruptive, moving towards good. But it's all about each of us. You are the star of your play, and everything around you is about your play. And one of the things that we get confused without the rose is that I'm in this huge play of the world. And we know you have actors and actresses just simply passing you by in their car all day long, making motion, making, having things happen. How many friends do you have? How many acquaintances do you have? That's not meant to be many people go, I have no friends. The point is that generally, even in a really healthy person's reality, 4, 5, 6 good friends, maybe if they're really lucky, you got family, okay, let's say that's good. Then you got another 30, 40 people that you have in association. That's your world. Everything else is passing through it, plus or minus. But we get really kind of consumed by this big thing I'm dealing with. When you start to get grounded, balanced, neutral, focused, certain, capable, gracious, a sense of presence, a seniority, this is who I am, then the strength that comes with that and the focus and a sense of huge power in that field of love. There is no sword, there's no push, there's no force, there's no overtaking, but there certainly is an intense sense of presence in love and the ability to direct it, manage it, focus it, reconfigure it, lay it before others so they can choose as you choose, is what is in fact coming to all of you as we go through these next 10, 15, 20 years. But the ability to navigate from that space right now is why we do these lectures, these classes, over and over and over again. And most of them are free, with the exception of the body of work, the course of Mastering Alchemy. But most of it's free, so you can choose. Whether we ever see you or engage with you after you hang up from this call, if you understand that rose, neutral, calm, and you begin to live your life from there, you just hit a home run, a major level. The tools are really simple. It's just a matter of shifting them, that attention point, the intention, the allowing. It's what the game's all about. So simple, but yet we're in motion. And we want, but we don't necessarily pause to create many times. This is what all this work we do is about.